Rand Water correcting us that, it's not a shutdown or a cut off of water. It is a planned tie-in, they're calling it, planned tie-in. This has to do with the work that they're saying they're needing to do on their pipelines that are leading to those issues of pressure and supply in parts of Gauteng. So nevertheless, we'll try and make sense of it all within the next few hours and help you cope and deal with the situation as it unfolds. So let's start doing that exactly. If you are in certain parts of Gauteng, several parts of the province will be without water from this morning. Rand Water is planning 54-hour water cuts in parts of the province. It's conducting maintenance on a raw water pipe that supplies the Vereeniging area with water, purifying plant in the Vereeniging area. Water tankers have been promised to affected areas. Our reporters are on the ground investigating what's the impact of this situation. So let's check in with eNCA's Silindelo Masikane and Heidi Jokos, who are in areas of Gauteng and tracking that situation for us. So let's start with you, Slee. Where are you at the moment and what is the situation where you are?
Well, Tulas, I find myself in Vereeniging in the Silindelo region where we understand this is the point in which the maintenance work is taking place, and it's taking place in two locations. If I ask my colleague Mokhumusi Setuki to give you a picture of what we're seeing happening on the ground, I mean, it's very rare, Tulas, where we get to see the actual maintenance work that's being done or purported to be done, and in this case, it's exactly underway. We understand that the operation started at around 4 a.m. this morning. We have around 150 officials from Rand Water who are taking part in this major operation, and you can see that they've set up camp here. The operation is officially underway. The new pipe that needs to be put in place of the old one is on site as well. We know that the teams have been divided to ensure that there won't be at any point anyone not actually operating and continuing with the work. But to give us a sense of exactly what we're seeing and what is happening, I spoke to one of the officials from Rand Water, Mr. Eddie Singo. Let's take a listen to what he had to say around the technicalities of this operation.
Not with our customers in this instance to ensure that.
As from around 4 o'clock, the colleagues were here starting up, preparing for the work that was going to happen. That is closing off of valves, opening up what we call scours to de-water the line. You'd appreciate it. We are talking about a 30-kilometer line that needs to be emptied. It is a 2,500 millimeter pipe. So the pipe that you are seeing in the pit there, that's the existing pipe. We are going to cut 11 meters of that line. You'll see the welders have already started cutting. They will cut the bottom right around, and on the other side, we've got a crane standby to then remove that cut out. In its place, we then are going to install a valve rig that we've got of the same size, 2.5 meters slotted in, and then welding will be starting. So you can just imagine the circumference of the line. It's of the 2.5 meter line, welded all around, both inside and outside. We also have our own technicians that will be doing the one condition assessment, but also the quality assurance. We've got all our safety officers, so the entire team is here, will be here throughout. So we've got a number of teams that will be working shifts as of today. This one that started at 5 o'clock will run up to 5 o'clock. Another one will come in just so that they go and rest and come in. However, there will not be a time where we'll be standing.
So that's Eddie Singo there, Silindelo, from Rand Water. I suppose the next question is, how is the work going where you are at the site? But I imagine that it can't be easy to give a straightforward answer, not being an engineer. But I suppose from what the people who are on site are telling you, how is it going?
So far, so good. From what we understand, operations started on time. As you can see behind me, the work continues, and that people will be working in shifts to ensure that they are sticking to that 54-hour outage that was communicated by Rand Water. But of course, what we do know is that the effect is going to be on residents, on businesses in and around certain areas in Gauteng. And so what we understood from speaking to officials from education, such as Steve Mabona, saying that they have contingency plans in place to ensure that learners who are writing exams do have access to water, but also saying that the exam period does help in that learners don't have to be at school constantly. But what we know from going around areas in Gauteng is that at this point, many of those areas that have been identified at this point do still have water. However, it just remains to be seen as to how long that's going to last. Speaking to Mr. Singo earlier today, Tulas, he did indicate that it's actually going to boil down to how you and I are going to be using water. There is a call to use water sparingly, saying that there should be enough in terms of the reservoirs to be able to sustain residents throughout the operations. It's just that people need to be mindful that at this point operations are in place and that they should be using water sparingly. We also spoke, of course, to the health department, the Gauteng Health Department, and they say they also have contingency plans in place. I understand we do have that clip on standby. I'm not sure if it is available, but if it is, let's just take a listen to what Ms. Kwarakekana had to say.
The Gauteng Department of Health remains on high alert following the announcement by Rand Water of the planned water interruptions that are going to affect various areas in Gauteng province. Despite no reported water interruptions currently in any of our health facilities in the province, the department continues to monitor the situation quite closely. The Gauteng Department of Health, together with Joburg Water, have put some contingency plans in place to ensure that health facilities are not adversely affected by the planned water interruptions. Water tankers and mobile toilets have been deployed in various facilities across the province, such as the Chris Hani Baragwana Academic Hospital, the Begimlange District Hospital in Soweto, as well as Helen Joseph Hospital, among others. This is in addition to the existing reservoir resources that we have in our own facilities. In addition to this, facility managers are putting plans in place to ensure that there is minimized use of water resources at non-essential areas in health facilities.
All right, Silindelo, we'll check in with you a bit later on. Let's hope the work keeps on going at pace to ensure that there's no, disruption to the full restoration of all the pressure and supply of water to areas in Gauteng. Out in the area of Vereeniging, that's eNCA's Silindelo Masikane, they're tracking the work that is being done, while at the same time talking to a number of stakeholders who are involved in this water situation.